Hi, welcome to a short story review. I wonder if it's actually going to turn out any shorter than a full book review. Not sure. So this is this beautiful, beautiful little Panther edition of Edmund Cooper's short stories that I found. There's 12 of them. I think Google has established for me that strange symbol there actually means 4 shillings rather than 4 pence. If you're from England and you know these things, the imperial style, do let me know. I'm still wondering about that. Have you got any idea how hard it is to Google what is the symbol for pence? Anyway, Tomorrow Came by Edmund Cooper. So these are all short stories, and the first one is called Welcome Home. It's a rather a 60s story, I would guess. I think this is copyright 1963, and there's no description of short stories having been published anywhere else, which is unusual in my experience for short story collections, but I gather Edmund Cooper was hard to work with. Maybe they just had never been published before. So we start with a United Nations ship swooping down on Mars, and you've got a international crew. There's an American and a Russian are the two primary astronauts on it, but there's also a Frenchman, a Chinaman, and a Brit. I think that's the lot of them. So you've got this international crew, though you only really hear mostly from the American and the Russian. This is the first manned flight to Mars. I think it's the first flight ever to Mars, and I thought it was interesting because we hear a lot about the Martian Chronicles from Ray Bradbury, and a lot of other people did Mars stories back in the day. They're not as popular anymore, but they were a big thing. I didn't know that Edmund Cooper ever did. And this one is really interesting because as they're coming in to Mars, instead of it being the dead planet that everyone in this story at least is expecting, they see that the canals are really canals, not just geological formations, and then they see these enormous pyramids. And so all the plans that they'd had for exploring Mars actually go out the window, and the crew are told to go over, home base tells them, I don't know, to go over and investigate the pyramids because the cost of getting there was high, and they want to give the public something that they can really sink their teeth into. So they all leave the ship. There's a really funny little scene where they're all stepping on Mars for the first time. Who's the first one to step down? Who's the first one to say something? And what is it? And I'm not going to spoil it because you might get to read this story one day. It's a good story. I was really impressed. Welcome Home. And then they're starting to head towards the pyramids, but they find an animal eating algae, I think it is. To me it sounds like algae. They're describing it as a cactus. I think an algae is much likelier. And they all head off to the pyramids. 2 of them go inside to find what they can find. The others stay outside, and the 2 find some amazing stuff that really blows their mind. And they emerge from the pyramid, and they send the others inside, and they say when they come out, we're gonna film it so all of Earth can know. And I'm not going to tell you what they find, because this story was really good. And if you're into short stories, and if you're into genre classic SFF, I think that you should try this one. I really enjoy Edmund Cooper's writing in general, and I think that short stories really do work for him. He manages to pack in all the events, and you've got this, the conclusion itself is worth reading for, but the actual reading experience is good as well. So that's the first one from Tomorrow Came. I'm going to probably talk about these ones one at a time as I go through them. Welcome Home isn't a long story. I think it's just 15 pages long. And yeah, one of the short stories of science fiction that really reminds me about how and why as a teenager I fell so deeply into science fiction, because of the what ifs, because of the speculation. And if you've got good writing and really nice pacing of a story like this one, free bonus. Thank you for watching this very, very short one, and read good books, or read good short stories, or watch movies, or whatever you like. But honestly, read good books.